put out what they want the public to listen to, what they want the public, how they want them to perceive this country itself. They try to paint this picture, and then they want to put us in it. And it's like, okay, little common folk, you all live and abide by all this stuff, and this is what we're going to talk about today, and this is how you should feel now, and next week we'll trend something else. And it's like, step out of that and just take a wide perspective view of everything. Take it all in. Don't just absorb what they're telling you at the second.
Exactly.
Don't keep it important.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems right now is everybody just takes their, whatever the news is saying. Nobody's doing any kind of research on their own. Nobody's looking into the backstories behind what causes all this crazy stuff. And then when you actually do bring up something, the left always calls it a conspiracy theory.
Right.
There's no just to that, and it's a conspiracy theory. Just like Hillary Clinton's emails, they were a conspiracy theory until the wrong person found out about it, and then it's not a conspiracy theory anymore. I mean, and the fact was, we all thought that the Hillary Clinton emails were something to do with national security or another country or something, and when it really broke down to it, it was all the child trafficking emails that were sent back and forth between her, Bill, and Comet Ping Pong Pizza and James Elefantis.
Right.
I mean, so the Clintons were so deep in this child trafficking and Pedo Island and Comet Ping Pong, and I mean, why are these people not in prison?
Because they're untouchable, like George Soros is.
Right. Well, no, we can touch them. It just takes the right people to do it.
I mean, who? I mean, we've already seen that the feds won't do it in our country.
Oh, of course not.
They're corrupt as hell.
Too.
Yeah, it's like, do away with, you know what I mean?
Right.
With the FBI, we don't even need them.
That's the problem is we can't find anybody that's not on the Clintons' payroll or Soros's payroll.
Yeah.
It's like they're either and or both of them are paying the same people at the same time.
Well, over time, it's always happened like this because they're getting up in age. So there's going to have to be someone to pass the torch to.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're not going to want their so-called legacy of destruction, to just fade away. They're going to have to pass the torch to someone. And what they're wanting, the government right now, especially the Democrats, the far liberal left, want to change this country and rearrange it to be a socialist nation. Because I think they're so fearful that there won't be someone there to pass the torch to.
This George Soros thing goes extremely deep. At the beginning of the Ferguson riots, a couple of organizations, one called MORE, the Missourians Organizing for Reform and Empowerment, and another one called OBS, it's the Organization for Black Struggle. These people actually went and advertised locally, $15 an hour, to pay people to come and riot. And all this funding directly, an actual transaction went to these newspapers and different places where they organized that, and the money actually come directly from the Open Society Foundation, which is George Soros' foundation, and he does all the funding. And at the beginning of the COVID outbreak, he actually transferred, was it $18 million or $18 billion? It was $18 billion into the Open Society Foundation at the beginning of the COVID outbreak.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you wonder, though, because at the beginning of the outbreak, we didn't have any of these riots and stuff like that. So what was the thinking behind that? Was he scared that the market was going to drop, or was he already planning these riots before any of the stuff even happened? Was he just planning because he knew that he could bring up some old past shit or something like that and spark this fire and pay people to go out and riot and protest and loot?
I think that it's to change laws in hopes that laws will be changed to cause division and then destruction and all of this stuff. I mean, look at how many small business owners have lost everything because of this man paying for these people to go out there in these streets and burn it down. It's pretty sad. It's just they want the Constitution shredded. Ultimately, that's what they want. They don't like the old ways of how this country's been ran. They don't like that. They want to rewrite it. They want something new. Like, look at Kyle Rittenhouse. This poor kid, it was self-defense. He defended himself. I mean, if you have a rifle and someone grabs the barrel of it and is trying to take it from you, do you think they're going to just walk away with it?
Right.
No. The likelihood of them turning that gun on you and killing you is high, extremely high. So, yes, he was defending himself, but he's locked up. So they'll use him as a way to fuck with our Second Amendment. I mean, there's a lot of people around the world that don't have guns. There's a lot of countries where guns are prohibited, and I don't know if the majority agrees with that, disagree. I really don't know, because I personally don't know anyone that from any other country where guns are prohibited that could speak for a wide array of people. I don't know. And, you know, you can look at polls and stuff, but who can trust those?
Right.
But anyway, I mean, we still have our rights, and you have the right to defend yourself and to protect yourself and your property and your family. And that's exactly what he did. And I think people like Soros, they wait for that. It's a ticking time bomb. They wait for someone to do that so they could use this person as, you know, the reason why they rewrite our Constitution. Do away with the Second Amendment. Do away with the First Amendment. And it's a scary time in this country. That kid's life possibly will be ruined, and he will sit. The charges that's against him, they carry a life sentence, right, without parole. So I really don't know where to go from here. People have to stand up and take control. And to me, it's scary because that's what he was doing. He was protecting the community, and he was doing what he thought was best. And a lot of times the people that were like the guys that were killed and the guy who had his arm almost completely severed, they were criminals. They had a criminal record. So that's the type of people that Soros puts out here to change our Constitution, or in hopes of changing it.
Right. And I've got a huge question, because I always look around at the scene instead of just looking at the actual thing that happened. The guy that he blew his bicep off had a 9mm. Mm-hmm. This guy's a convicted felon. Mm-hmm. So where are the charges at for a convicted felon owning a firearm? Right.
Well, see, that I think they covered that up when the last part of it. From what I gathered early on, he was a convicted felon, but now they're just saying that he was intoxicated and was having a firearm. So I don't know. I mean, the media spins things. I have no idea what the situation is, but we do know for sure, and the media can't cover this up, is that the guy who with the bullet grazed his head and ultimately killed him, the shot to the groin killed him, right, the autopsy said, and through the back, he was a sex offender.
Right, but that guy, they can't even prove where the gunshots came from.
Right.
There were no ballistics found in the body. And if you look at the new video that Kyle Rittenhouse's lawyer has released, mm-hmm, you can actually see the burst fire coming out of the end of a barrel from behind, mm-hmm, the guy, not from Kyle Rittenhouse's position. And they have no proof that all those rounds were fired from the clip that Kyle Rittenhouse had in his firearm. Right. So it seems to me, and common sense tells you, that Kyle Rittenhouse did graze his head with a bullet. Somebody else trying to shoot Kyle Rittenhouse popped that guy 3 or 4 times in the gut. Sure. In the groin, and killed this fella, but now they're still going to hold this guy.
They arrested him, charged him, and without any evidence.
Right, exactly.
Within 24 hours, he was arrested and charged with murder, intentional homicide, and no investigation had happened.
What happened to the times in America where if you had an incident like that, or even say somebody tried to break into your house, you fired, you killed the person, okay, they hold a trial for you a couple of months later just to, mm-hmm, get the facts and stuff out. You go on about your life. You go back to work. Now, since all this BLM shit, every time something happens, they throw some white guy in prison and let him just sit there. Right. I mean, what kind of bullshit is that? You're supposed to be innocent until fucking proven guilty. Right.
Well, it's in a Democrat-ran city, too, so...
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, so the DA... of course, the DA's got all the money in the pocket from the Democrats. Mm-hmm.
And George Soros.
And George Soros. Yeah. So they're going to try to push this kid all
Where's
the way
the Bell Project
limits.
For Kyle Rittenhouse?
Right.
Where's that at?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, Soros needs to come up with something to get Kyle Rittenhouse out of fucking jail, because, I mean, Okay, from my perspective, the young man was trying to do the best that he could to help. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the young man shouldn't have been there in the first damn place.
I mean, should have anyone been there?
No, there shouldn't have been anybody there in the first place, but they were.
Right.
But since he was there and he was trying to do his best in his patriotic duty as an American, he was completely in his rights. It's just like this Breonna Taylor bullshit. Mm-hmm. The police department was just. Mm-hmm. It was justified. Kyle Rittenhouse was just. It was justified. So there are no reason for charges.
Well,
there are
like
no reason for $12 million fucking payments out of the taxpayers' fucking pockets.
Right.
Over somebody that was into drugs, got fired for dead bodies, firearms, felons. I mean, and actually
we're
had
paying
a
off
no-knock
criminals.
warrant.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we're paying $12 million
like Jacob
worth
Blake,
of hush money.
A fucking criminal, a millionaire overnight.
Right.
Same thing,
$12
same
million
concept. Right.
A fucking hush money.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
Do it. You can't say patriotic duty now because that's a fucking liberal trigger word. You can't say that you're a patriot. It's like, if you don't stand for your country, what exactly do you stand for? If you're not proud of the rights that you have in this country, the fact that you can wake up every day, make as much money as you want to make, live your life as close to being as free as possible compared to anywhere else in the world, what problem do you have with that?
Right.
What issues do these people have with the way this country is and has always been? You dissect it a little bit before you get out here saying that you've got issues with everything, because the opposite side of the coin is not pretty.
Oh, no, it's not. And I don't have a liberal low-life dictionary. So, yeah. I mean, you know, my PC is 0. Right. I have a 0 political correctness filter.
My point is that we can't even say that, you know, it's a trigger word to say that you're a patriot. Right. It's like, hell yeah, I'm a patriot. And fuck you if you're not. Because if you can't stand for what this country is right now, then you're sadly mistaken when it comes to the opposition. If you think it's going to be some kind of unicorns and rainbows and everybody's going to get along and everybody's going to have the same equal level playing field and shit like that, you're retarded. I'm going to be the first to tell you. You have no common sense. You have no logic. You're retarded.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Right.
Because it does not work that way. And if it does work that way, go find you a socialist/communist country and go live there. Go get a 60-day trial version of it. And then come back and tell us how it was.
Exactly. I mean, and that goes back to what's the guy they shot him in the back? I can't even think of this.
Jacob
name.
Blake.
Jacob
Blake.
A
millionaire overnight from GoFundMe.
Yeah, I just want to throw this out there that this guy, the cops are called there for a reason. I mean, they just didn't show up out of the fucking blue and go, "Hey, I'm going to harass this fucking black guy."
He had a warrant for his arrest.
The dude had a fucking warrant, justified again.
Exactly.
A just reason to be there for the police department. And then on top of that, the motherfucker goes for a knife. Mm-hmm. There's nobody out, even outside of the police force. There is nobody with common sense gonna stand there and let somebody get a knife and go to slicing on them. I mean, what kind of fucking idiot do they think people are? So he goes for a fucking knife and he reaches in to grab it, and the cop shoots him in the fucking back. Good job. Right. Shoot him a fucking again. That's the way I see it. And now these motherfuckers are out there giving these people millions of fucking dollars for being an idiot.
But if Jacob Blake would have been white, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If George Floyd would have been white, we would have never even heard about it. But see, this made world news because of the color of their skin. See, right now the media they're fueling that racism fire again. It happens every election. They stick the poker in the fire and they see what gets the hottest, and whatever area is the hottest at the time is what we go with pre-election. It's always been that way. It'll always be this way. And sadly, the rest of the world probably views us as being this divisive, racist-filled country. And in reality, it's not like that. I mean, we elected a black man president of the United States 2 times. 2 terms he served. We have Oprah Winfrey. She owns her own television network. I don't think that black people carried her there on their back solely. You know what I mean? So we haven't been a racist country for a long, long time. But sadly, the rest of the world views us, because of these incidents, as being racist. And now, the only way, what does the media think? Well, the only way to make us not look racist is to pay these people millions of dollars. When in reality, it's not the media paying them. It's not the government paying them. It's the citizens of this country paying them via GoFundMe and and these other organizations. So it's almost like we as a country are trying to show the rest of the world